Hi, everybody. It's Tom and Leslie, and we are the owners of Stage to Sell Design Services in Tempe, Arizona. We put furniture into homes that are for sale and accessories. You can see our bath and floral department behind us, just a small part of our 8,000 square feet of furnishings, which we use to help all sorts of homeowners and realtors and other customers sell their homes for a better price and sell their homes faster as well. But we thought we should do something, just do something fun. It's the end of the year. It's the last week of the year.
Yeah,
And it's kind of an important milestone for us.
for sure. It's going to be our anniversary.
We were
On
married
Thursday.
on New Year's Eve, 2019.
2019.
Are you forgetting already? It's only been
No, I was just like, was it 2020? No, it was
You think I'm the old one? Well, see, this is important. It has been a tough year. It's been a tough year for a lot of people, and given that it has been a tough year in 2020, we wanted to do something fun for you and do something fun for us as well. And we wanted to share with you our dating advice. Like we know.
All right.
So if you're thinking about dating or you're thinking about meeting someone new, and if you're single and you're interested in being in a relationship, I wanted to point out that there are sometimes obstacles and sometimes barriers that can be overcome. And where you might think you're not marketable or you might think you're not desirable in some way, a lot of times it's just the way you've been kind of perceived, the way you've been perhaps perceiving yourself.
Yeah.
The way you've been looking upon yourself, maybe lacking self-esteem, or just the world has been kind of tough on you over the years, and you're just thinking, hey, I'm just not worth it. And you might be surprised if you really put some effort into it and really do something special, how much of a difference that can make. And we wanted to illustrate that for you with a story of our third date. Leslie thought that she thought that I was too old, and so I was in the friend zone, and that's where I was going to stay for a bit. And I was still evaluating myself. I had been on some other dates. I'd met other people and had other opportunities, and this was different. This was a very carefully planned out date that I thought, I wanted to really, really impress her and do something really special. I did go to the store and I put together a picnic basket, all sorts of cheeses and crackers and grapes and fruits and vegetables and things, champagne, did all that, put it in a backpack. And we went south towards, on the California coast. It was just south of an area called Carmel. We met at a coffee shop and went down towards the Big Sur coastline. And if you haven't been there, I would recommend you definitely pay that area a visit as soon as your vacation schedule allows. It's one of the most majestic and serene and peaceful and beautiful areas you've ever seen. The Big Sur coastline, it's unparalleled in its beauty. And I thought, when Leslie asked if we could go down to the Big Sur area, I thought it was a great suggestion. And we started with a look out over the rocks where the waves are crashing in the ocean. And just a little bit further south, we went to a beach called Garrapatta. And that's where there's a beautiful cove with all these lilies, a creek flowing down to the beach, where you can see hundreds of white lilies in a cove and get a photograph of the lilies and the mountainside and the ocean in front of it. It's one of the most beautiful settings. Afterwards, we went and set out our picnic, set out a blanket, and You have to plan these things, guys. You know, you have to have things ready, right? You have to have your blanket ready. You don't want to be just sitting in the sand. You want to show her that you put some effort in and that you thought it through. And then we had our picnic, and she seemed receptive, and I gave her a shoulder rub. What was that like?
It was great. another thing you said to me, something to the effect of, and this is just the beginning. Like, you know, like you gave me the impression that this would happen all the time. That's a good thing to say, even though it doesn't end up being the way it is.
You haven't had enough shoulder rubs? Okay.
Well, I think the excitement goes away after the first date for a shoulder rub.
This is the third date. It's the third date.
Oh, well, that was the first date that we actually like touched each other. So
We
yeah.
walked back down the beach, and there's a staircase there, but we stopped on one of the nearby rocks, and Leslie sat down, and I washed the sand off of her feet. And that was a special moment for you. Can you tell our listeners what that was like?
It was quite embarrassing, actually. I was not used to that kind of treatment, so it was really awkward at first. Made me really uncomfortable, but I think that was definitely the first moment when I said to myself, if this man is willing to do this for me,
Wow.
this is really something I need to start thinking about.
Wow.
Yeah, it really, really was.
I don't think I've ever heard her say that.
Yeah, that was the first time.
Wow. After this happened, we walked back up the trail to the car, and we headed further south down towards, there's a couple of hotels down there. They're very rustic. One of them is called the River Inn. And about 100 feet behind the River Inn, you can enjoy a meal while you sit on an Adirondack chair in the middle of the river. You're literally in the water with the water running over the top of your feet and having your lunch. That was really great. That was beautiful and serene and quiet, and the forest is around you, and there's some other people there, but if you get there at a good time, maybe a little off season, it's not as crowded, and it was fantastic. And we went a little further south towards some falls that some people say are unique to California, that this is the only place where a significant amount of water actually is part of a waterfall that hits the beach. That in California, that's very rare. And there's the McQuay Falls down in that's the Pfeiffer State Park, Pfeiffer Beach. And the McQuay Falls they're legendary. It's just such a beautiful sight to see those falls there. We went and enjoyed that together, and we saw the pump house, some historic places that are behind the falls you can go and visit. There was a little electric plant there, and we just kind of poked around there a little bit. But we'd already made a reservation at the most, I guess, renowned restaurant in the area, which is Nepenthe. Nepenthe means something like no cares, a place where, again, you can have this peace of mind and get away from civilization. Cell phones don't really work at all, or they don't work well in the area, so you're a bit disconnected from just the busyness and the trappings of life and society, and kind of separate in a way. And we went down further north at that point to Nepenthe, and it was going to be a wait. Even though I'd put our name in, it was going to be a little bit of a wait. So we waited there on the patio, and it was hot, and we were I was kind of leaning up against her, and she had this shirt on with this kind of opening in the back a little bit, and I put my hand on her back, and I could feel her skin of her back, and she didn't say no or anything, so that was kind of exciting for me. And then I think I got a kiss in on her ear, and that was something that not everybody appreciates, but it was a risk to try that. So I don't recommend that, guys. But you never know. You never know what
You
might.
have to go slow and
might work.
read. Read the body language.
So afterwards, we finally got seated on the back patio, and I was getting really nervous because I wanted to give Leslie a serenade. I wanted to sing for her, and that could go different ways. It could be really well received. It could not. It just depends on the setting and what have you. So I stood up to do this song for her. Yeah, there was a couple glasses of wine, so it's a little bit. Yeah.
Maybe you should have got me a glass of wine too.
It was a little shocking.
Would have taken.
And so it went a little bit like this. The song starts out. Che bella cosa una giornata sole, n'aria serena dopo una tempesta. E aria fresca pare già una festa. Che bella cosa una giornata sole. Ma notte sole, che bella joine, oh sole mio, stai in fronte a te, oh sole mio. You guys know the rest, right? I mean, everybody knows that song. Okay. Yeah, we all know it. So that was a moment. She loved it. It was a little scary at first, I think, for her.
Yeah.
What was that like when that happened?
It was kind of nerve-wracking at first because, of course, everyone turns around and looks at us. So I just wanted to hide at first. I really just wanted to be able to close my eyes and go away from that moment. But then after, I just started like thinking about how amazing it was that you would do that. And then it just, a whole new feeling kind of washed over me instead of the embarrassment. It was more like, oh my gosh, like all of these women around me are probably thinking, wow, what a lucky woman. Like, who does that?
It was a little crazy. I looked around and I was a little startled because there were all these cameras pointed at us and people were recording, and I just thought, oh my, that was wild. And then there was a big round of applause afterwards, and it was just a moment. It was unreal.
Yeah.
We continued back home towards Carmel, and we had a moonlight walk on the beach and some more, cuddling, and it was beautiful. And I kid you not, we almost got 911 called on us because Leslie's family was concerned that maybe she'd been kidnapped because the date we just lost track of time. It went on for over 12 hours. It was a very, very long date.
And nobody had met you yet. They just had no idea who
They
I
didn't,
was
yeah,
with
we didn't.
that day.
And the cell phones don't really work down there.
No.
That was unfortunate, but it was spectacular.
Yeah,
It
so
was
finally
so
when
fun.
we got back to where my phone worked, then it was just like, oh no, now I know
Oh,
why
boy.
I haven't gotten any texts, or like it just didn't register.
She was safe. She got home safe, and it was only a few months later we were engaged and married, and that was
No, it was
less than that.
it was less than that
It was
we were
months.
engaged, and then months that we were married. Yes, you're right about that part.
So how long was it before we were engaged?
So we met August 24th, and then we were.
A few weeks later, we were engaged. But I was
Yeah.
putting the whole thing together, engagement, marriage.
Yeah.
A relatively, a kind of a short amount of time. But I think when you're in your 40s or 50s, I'm now 55, I think it's one of those times that you're a little more serious and you're goal oriented and
want.
you're focused.
You know what you like. It's just a whole different. Yeah.
That is our story, and I think it was a nice way to begin with anyone who likes to follow us and look at our channel. I hope you will subscribe and like, and we'll look forward to our next video with you. Bye-bye.